Hello everyone. Today I wanted to continue on with my journey through Once Upon a Time in China. Today with a brief discussion of part 3. This box set recently released November 2021 from Criterion. In this sequel, we are in Beijing. Film opens with this fantastic panorama of the lion dance being performed for the Dowager Empress, and there's a big foreign contingent there, and the Empress is wondering what are all these foreigners doing here. This is a ongoing sort of subtext to the Once Upon a Time in China series, this crumbling nation and with all different foreign colonialist powers ready to pounce on them, and the president says, well, we'll have to try to play them off against each other. And amongst this contingent is from Russia, and they are the bad guys here, and they have some very nefarious plans afoot. Wang Fei-hung arrives in Beijing. He's got the 13th aunt along with him from the first two Once Upon a Time in China, and he's there to visit his father and get his father's permission to marry who else but the 13th aunt. Jet Li is back again as Wang Fei-hung. I don't think he plays him in part 4. He's a great fighter, but when it comes to love, he's just pure mush. Their cutesy romance generates a good deal of comedy, and we also have Su Chung Muk back as well as Wang's sidekick, both disciple in medicine and in martial arts. We also have the head of the White Lotus sect from part 2. Who had a spectacular man-on-man fight, and he's back here playing a character called Clubfoot, although that's what he's called in the subtitles, but that's in the credits, he's not called that. But there's no extended man-on-man fights. There is a brief fight between Jet Li and Clubfoot, but there were 2 of them in parts 1 and 2, and they were really the centerpieces of the film, and we don't get that here. And we don't get really a very compelling narrative struggle, because the struggle is all about these rival kung fu clubs that one of them is absolutely deadly, and they're all trying to win a prize of a pageant, a banner from this pageant that's ongoing during the fireworks display. And so we get general mayhem. They fight each other, and they fight in the last half hour of part 3 is them fighting each other, all under the camouflage of these giant masks that are used in the lion dance. So we get this romance that's exasperated, the romance between Wang and the 13th aunt, because one of the officers in the Russian contingent, he's after her too. He wants to woo her too. And that of course makes Wang very, very jealous, and there's a whole lot of kind of comic moments for Jet Li to show his jealousy. We also get, as we do in the previous 2 films, we see a camera. This time it's a moving camera, which the 13th aunt is a camera woman, and we also get the steam engine. So we get not just this sort of foreign intervention, we get this industrial revolution intervention that the Western countries are bringing to China. And I read a book by Lisa Morton. She wrote a book on director Troy Huck's career, and he is the director of this one as well. I don't believe he produces, but does not direct part 4. And I was just amazed that Troy Huck's, the prolificness of his career in the 1990s, and part 3 is from 1992. Troy Huck directed 21 films and he produced 30 films. So 9 more than he actually directed, and his career was always prolific. He produced some of John Woo's early hits, Jackie Chan as well, and there's a conversation on the supplements that's very similar to the conversation that Troy Huck had in part 1, where he talks about his career coming from America, the differences, his style of directing, producing, writing. And there's also a supplement. There's really only one other supplement, and this is with the actor John Wakefield, an American actor who plays this Russian officer who is after the 13th aunt. And he said that he was cast because he was fluent in Cantonese. He also has some martial arts skills, but they decided that it wasn't good enough or wouldn't be convincing enough fighting up against Jet Li. So he kind of implies that the production was really very, very loosely written. They would get their lines the morning of the shoot, and then they would constantly change the lines, the dialogue that he was supposed to say. And the whole movie was post-dubbed. There was no sound used at all in the movie, and he was surprised that he wasn't asked to dub his own voice, and they did use somebody else. And then when he saw the movie, they used different dialogue than the dialogue that they were so adamant that he used in the movie. And he also said that Jet Li did not speak Cantonese; he spoke Mandarin, so he is dubbed in all the films. Of course, he doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue, but when I was watching the film, I could have sworn that they used a different actor to dub. Jet Li didn't sound anything like what he sounded like in the first two parts of Once Upon a Time in China. The other thing is, if you watch this film, the default, you put it in there, the default setting is for the binaural audio, and after about I couldn't take it. It was so distant and far away, and I had forgotten that they gave us an alternative. So after about a half an hour, I had to put in, I checked in the settings, and sure enough, there was a setting for stereo, and the stereo is much better, is much crisper and full. But the lip sync is still, I mean, they're not even coming close. A lot of the dialogue isn't even coming close to what the lips are pronouncing. So overall, I would say part 3, it does have some really colorful General Mayhem fights, to be sure. But I would probably rate it a notch below both 1 and 2, and mostly because we didn't get those spectacular long man-on-man fights that made those first 2 films so compelling. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen to me this far. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.